What's up, guys? Back for part 3. This will be the last part of this volume. And if you saw parts 1 and 2, which I showcased these 12 knives here, 6 in each part, thank you for watching those. I appreciate that. And for this third part, we'll be showing the last 6. And this batch has got a pretty eclectic grouping of Twosuns here. But we got some good ones, so let's get started. First one up is the TS311 here. This is a night morning design. And this is quite a gorgeous design here. As you can see that nice micro milling, and then this kind of like, how would you put it? Just kind of sandblast oxidized finish to the titanium. Beautiful carbon fiber inlays done on both sides. Always like when they do that. Works as the over travel stop as well. And then the night morning logo, TS311 and 14C. Beautiful stone washing, as you can see. I'm glad that Twosun is doing more stone washing, especially on their 14C, since it tends to be a fingerprint and scratch magnet. Really nice thumb studs that work as the external stop pins. And then all your branding on the pivots, as you see, since the front end is sterile here. I do like that they do that instead, but I just don't like how much writing they put on the pivot. But I'd rather they do that instead of put it on the blade. Cool bullet casing style. And then, yeah, just an overall really cool design. Really nice blade shape. It's got that like bare knuckle style blade shape. And a bit reminiscent of the TS129 as well. The way that bottom has that kind of front-ended recurve. That like late recurve style on the front end. Just really interesting. The plunge line, as you can see, is pretty decent for the sharpening choil, the amount of life in this blade. And then the action on here is just super drop shutty and guillotine-y. You do have to definitely be careful. Yeah, just right out of the box, this thing was just absolutely phenomenal action. I did make it a little bit better, but I mean, there was really nothing to improve here. Beautifully centered. And then I do like the jimping style that they did. They kind of crowned it, but it's got a nice bite to it anyways. So it does feel good. And then they copied that styling of the backspacer as well. So just really, really cool how they did that. And then back to these thumb studs real quick. Even though they have no knurling or jimping on them, I do really like them. They sit proud of the titanium, so you can get nice purchase. And then I like using thumb studs where you push it up. So this one works perfectly, getting purchase on the thumb stud like that, despite not having jimping. And then just really easy to actuate. And then just a really nice solid detent. The detent angle is a bit late, but not having that flipper tab, you don't have to worry, so get past it and you're good to go. You got your detent ramp, and just a really, really nice design. This pocket clip works phenomenally, and then again, it's got that like sandblasted oxide look. But yeah, the ramp works very well. And then external relief cut, which kind of wish they would have done it internally for a cleaner look, since they did the symmetrical carbon fiber on both sides. So next up is another another night morning design. This is the TS50 Tusk, and I got the one in the titanium liner version. And as you can see, it's not perfectly centered. I have some complaints about this knife, and it's more so against the seller. Real quick, I got this one on White Mountain Knives. I paid $77 for it, and I got a good deal on it because I meant to get a different knife that they didn't have in the right color. The TS316. I wanted the blue one that they apparently have started doing, Twosun. They didn't have it, they had the light green, so instead I got this, and they gave it to me for the $77 price, which was nice. Saved like 10 bucks. But this one I got for 67 on the bay, and yeah, the one problem I have with it was that the seller was a bit deceptive indirectly. They didn't mention the fact that they mutilated some of the areas of this knife, I guess, trying to fix it. They messed up the face area of the lock bar insert, and then the detent ramp. They went in and like try to shave more of it off where the tang rides onto the blade. So this whole area right here is just shaved and messed up. They went in and put some extra ramping that I'm guessing he did that because it's got a late detent, so that it would clear it easier, but they just did a really bad job. And yeah, when I first got it, it would get stuck right there at this burr that it had, and I had to clean all of that up with a ceramic rod. I was able to pretty much fix it, but it's not perfect the way I would like it. I need to get a Dremel and do a little bit more work. And then I was able to correct that lock bar, but it did create a little bit of a later lockup. And then with the lock bar pressure that it has, it creates that bit of off-centeredness. So it bugs me a bit, but it's not, like the knife functions. It's just, I'm really neurotic and a perfectionist about everything. So seeing that it kind of bugs me. But yeah, hopefully I can fix up that detent ramp a little bit more. But overall, just a really, really cool knife. Love the G10 and the two-tone. The fit up is nice and solid. Fit and finish is pretty good. I like this pocket clip. The titanium pocket clip works very well. Great ramp. Goes into that pocket easily. Good tension. Internal relief cut on the titanium liners, and then as you can see, your lock bar insert. I mean, it's got good solid lockup and everything. Just, yeah, they messed up that detent ramp. Still pretty decent action now that I was able to fix it. I am working around the camera, so it is a bit awkward, but not too bad. And then as I showed the detent angle, but TS50 here, Tusk by Night Morning, and I'll keep this guy until I can find a better one, and then get rid of it. But still really cool. And I didn't give the seller a negative review. I gave him a neutral review since I still bought it. I tried to contact them twice, didn't get any answer. Since it was a bid style auction, I wanted to win it, so I went and bought it anyways. And I'm at fault for it, partially for buying it, even though they didn't mention any of the faults that it had. I mean, the pictures, they made it look perfect, so it is what it is. Next up is the TS176 here by Wong Den Xin. This is a really, really beautiful knife. All titanium, a frame lock construction. The TS176 here has been discontinued for a while. I haven't seen any of these, and I really wish they would make more of these guys, because I mean, I would love to see others be able to get some of these out there. These are just, this is a really cool design. 14C, just very, very beautifully done. The machining, micro milling, the pocket clip works very well. The ergos on here are just fantastic. I mean, it's got a, kind of straight neutral style, but these 3-finger grooves, everything sits so well. The jimping is nice and grippy. You have all of that jimping here. Just wonderful. Nice and grippy jimping. Lock up. I love that blade shape. You got that like Spanish clip point, straight clip with the swedge here. Really, really cool blade shape. And then the tall flat grind. You get a pretty nice thinness behind the edge. Real slicey. I've been enjoying this one, cutting the cardboard. It's been quite nice. It's quite the cutter. Good life in that blade. Sharpening 12 plunge grind. Just very, very solid knife. And the centering on this one, just absolutely spot on. I mean, look at the way that blade sits. That is just the machining, the tolerances. Gorgeous. You got your detent ramp. Very nice detent. The angle is quite late. That's the only thing. I mean, look at how late that is. You get past it, and the flipper tab will hit your finger. But you do kind of have to hang a little bit back on this one. But you'll get past, and then, you know, nice smooth action. Nice and drop shutty. But just a really, really cool design by Wong here. In TS176. And then they did that bee blasting in the groove here. Open construction with the barrel spacers. And then some internal relief milling. But just a fantastic knife. Really, really liking this one. I won this one on eBay. I paid $115. Might be a little overpriced, but being that it discontinued, was worth it. Got into a bit of a bidding war at the end there, and I won it at the last 3 seconds because I accidentally bid $1,000. I meant to put in 100, and I put in 1,000, and I still won it. The person that tried to win it like outbid me, snipe it. They put 99, so luckily eBay didn't charge me $1,000 for it. That would have sucked, and I would have had to cancel that. But I won it, so it's cool. It is what it is. Next up is this guy here, the TS218. It's a Jelly Jerry design, and this is a pretty interesting, unique design. Different. I mean, for Jelly Jerry, this is different. In that micarta, that like gritty micarta, I did polish this one up as well, the way I've done on some of the other micartas here, like you can see. I don't like the grittiness to it, but once I polish it, I do like the way it looks. So the TS218, it's a really cool shape. I mean, this overall is just really nice design. That front flipper, super stupid smooth. The blade centering, it's a bit off because it's got a really strong lock bar. This lock bar, they did an internal reliefing, and it's inset, as you can see. It's just a lock bar. It's not a full liner, which I wish they would have done. No liner on this side, so just that inset lock bar. But as you can see, that liner is so strong, it kind of creates a bit of a bow, actually, to the micarta. And this micarta is flexing a bit. It's got some squish to it. And you know, that's just because of the nature of the build. It's still a pretty solid knife. The stop pin, big old thick stop pin, so despite, you know, only having the bearing track on that side, no like liner or insert tab, which they did bearing tracks, which I'm surprised of, it's still a pretty solid knife. Not getting anything, so yeah, still, you know, even though the lockup is early, nice and good. And, yeah, phenomenal action. This thing just, it takes no effort to drop shot, just on its own. I mean, that is a bit because, you know, the tolerances aren't going to be absolutely perfect, and then, you know, it doesn't have the most pivot tension strength here, so this is one of those cases where even though it's got a really nice drop shutty action, it doesn't mean it's like a perfect drop shut action. But it's still really nice and smooth. Your titanium pivot collars, that interesting backspacer pocket clip duo. I don't really like the way this works in the pocket. I mean, I don't like it sitting like this in my pocket, so I kind of turn it. So like it's like that, and it kind of folds my pants. It sits in the pocket well when it's like that, but yeah, I don't know why Jelly Jerry went for this design. I mean, probably just wanted to try something different. But it is pretty cool and interesting looking. It's got the lanyard built into it. And then as you can see here, the 3 screws for that inset liner. 14C, really cool, dual grind on here. Flat grind. You do have that fuller, which isn't necessarily meant to be used, but you can actually reverse flick it. If you get down here, if you get under the nail, you can get it out and reverse flick it, so that is pretty cool. And then this like flat choil area, you get a bit of a 4-finger choil. And the ergos are pretty nice on here. I really do like them, even though they're neutral. And then this front spot, it's kind of angled up for the finger. It does work kind of nicely. Good jimping, but definitely an interesting design by Jelly Jerry, and I do like this one a lot. It's different compared to his other knives, but quite a cool kind of gentleman's light use knife. I just want to fix that lock bar up a little bit. I had to take a bit of tension out of it, and I feel like I need to take a little bit more out. And up next is another knife that's kind of got a similar build in a way. That is the TS319. Wow, that failed. Sorry. That was all me, not the knife. That was all me. Because this little guy's got a snappy action. And forgot to mention, I paid $60 for this one. So pretty good price. The TS319 here. How much did I pay for this guy? It was like $80 or something, 75. I don't remember. All included in the description. This is a CM design, 14C, and just a really solid, well-built little EDC knife here. I mean, listen to that detent. And then that thing is just so snappy. Very nice. Really cool little design. I'm liking this guy a lot. Get some close-ups. Beautiful carbon fiber inlay. The machining. Just very well done. You know, no major gapping or anything. It's just transitions flawlessly. I mean, for this price point, it's done really nicely. I like the machining around the pivot. And then nice blade shape. Good 4-finger choil. Get plenty of room. And then even though it's a small handle, I still can get a nice full 4-finger grip. Works out very nicely. It is chunky, as you can see. And then the lanyard pin in the back. I got a couple dings on here. I dropped it like right as soon as I got out of my car after having opened it for the first time out of the box. I felt like an idiot. But yeah, inset liner lock. It's got some nice lock bar access, and then that chamfering reliefing to get the thumb on there easily. But that lock bar, again, like the last knife's got that inset style. And this lock bar is super thick and strong. It's got a relief cut, but it could be relieved a bit more. Because this lock bar, it gives my Kershaw Tirade a run for its money when it comes to that lock bar pressure. It was actually so strong that even though the blade is like perfectly centered, it created a bit of a curve in the blade, where it was pressing so hard on the detent, it was like causing the blade to curve inward. I heated the lock bar up a little bit to kind of get some of that strength out, but yeah, they need a relief a little bit more. But definitely that's, you know, why it's so snappy. It's just, yeah. You know, it's not going to be a drop shutter because of that. And it's not, you know, this knife is not meant to be. This is one of those knives I see as a 5th pocket secondary carry. You pull out real quick, you make your cut, you know, especially for this design, flicking it out quickly. The blade shape, very utilitarian, just great cutter, choke up, make your cut, and then quickly put it away and, you know, put it in your pocket. Nice pocket clip. But that ball style, again, it will kind of tear up the pants a little. And then, yeah, just a really cool, solid design overall. To me, this is like a souped up version of the Pilar, just a way better overall design, like the way the Pilar should have been had they had good materials and stuff. But really cool design here, really nice in the hand, and overall solid little chunker of an EDC knife. That's the TS319. And the last guy up is the TS296 here. This is a pretty interesting Rihe design, and as I've said before on my other Volume 1 series, when I had talked about the 290, what was it, the 298? Yeah, Rihe has got some really intricate, interesting kind of over-the-top milling, and as you can see on this one, it's kind of got that same style. Really dirty. Sorry, I've been carrying this one. As you can see, it's kind of hard to clean those holes out. Really interesting milling pattern. And again, on this one, I did the same thing. It was on my lap, dinged it in a couple little spots. Really cool blade shape. The only thing I didn't like was that kind of like rippling you see on the blade. I don't know if that's because of the, you know, the grinder and the belt, like if they were using a wheel or something. But I just didn't like the way that turned out too much. But really interesting blade shape. I do like that, like Tonto-esque recurve clip point style. It's just interesting. I do wish that they would have done some internal reliefing. They didn't do any internal reliefing, and I'm thinking it's because they did all this intricate milling on the outside. And for this price point, they were just trying to, you know, keep costs right. But it makes this handle really heavy, just handle heavy. This thing comes in at right under 6 ounces, so that's just the only thing I kind of fault it for, is just being a chunker. But it's really solid. I mean, in the hand, ergonomically, it's nice, and it's solid. And with that blade shape, that blade style, even though it's got a hollow grind, it's more of a robust hollow grind. But it will thin out as you sharpen it, and it's not that bad behind the edge. It's just more of a robust hollow grind for the type of knife that this is. Surprisingly, no jimping, but still, just since it's ergonomically nice and fit it to the hand, you don't really need it per se. But overall, just a really interesting design here by Rihe. He kind of goes over the top, but it's cool that Twosun can pull these out. And this was definitely one I wanted to check out. Picked this one up for 80 bucks. But yeah, like I said, just wish they would have done some internal reliefing. Very nice drop shot action. This thing is quite smooth. Good detent. You know, hits the finger and then goes all the way down on its own, no problem. Detent, it's pretty immediately, or hits immediately in that angle. Get past it, and then your detent ramp on here is so small you can't even see it. It's like right on the ever tip of there on that corner. But I almost didn't believe this one had one. I had to take it apart to actually see it. But yeah, very smooth action here. It's the TS296. One thing I don't like, even though this pocket clip is pretty cool looking in a way, I don't like the fact that it goes out of its way to be on the lock bar. But I kind of understand why, because of all the milling and stuff. But it still sits kind of in a weird area anyways. Doesn't really put any pressure on the lock bar though, because it's got nice tensioning, so it does work well. But that's everything I got here for Volume 2 of Part 3, my Let's Talk Twosun knives. If you want to see Volume 1, I have 19 other Twosuns. Altogether, I got like 38 now. I just keep buying them. I love these knives, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. So I'll be posting more shorts of some of these and some of the new knives I got coming in. I got several Kevin Johns coming in, and yeah, definitely subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Later.